Hello and welcome to your Mellow Monday practice with me, Gina. Today I'm starting out sitting in a chair, so go ahead and grab a comfortable seat in a chair. And as well, I'll be using a strap. If you don't have a yoga strap, you can use a belt or a sturdy scarf. So we'll start out just sitting on a supportive chair, so something firm, and come forward into your sitting bones, and just start by grounding your sitting bones into the firm surface below you, and let that action translate into a softening of the spine up towards the sky. So settling here into the sitting bones and allowing the weight to rest gives the equal and opposite force for your spine to gently lift, and you might even grow a bit taller. And when you feel like you've found that nice even point, I invite you to close your eyes, starting to tune into the inner workings of our breath and awareness. And I'll lead you through a gentle breathing practice to get started. If at any time this feels strained or you feel lightheaded or dizzy, just know that you always can come back to your natural breath. It's not intended to push you out of your comfort zone. So with that, go ahead and take a big inhale. Exhale softly. And we'll start by counting the breath. I'll lead you through 5-second intervals. If that doesn't work for you, find a rhythm that feels best suited to your specific breath rhythm. So exhale out all the breath, and we'll inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continue on with your own counting, expanding the ribs as you inhale, lengthening through the spine, up to the crown. And as you exhale, feel your shoulders relax, any tension in your jaw or face. Let that ease away, just feeling the comfortable rhythm of your breath. Maybe giving a slight constriction at the back of the throat, inviting in an ujjayi breath. Now we're going to work with an extended exhale. So when you find yourself at the next exhale, go again for a count of 5 on the inhale. So inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now exhale for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let that go and come into your natural breath. Letting go of any counting or focusing on that linear thought of breaths per second or seconds per breath. And just feel yourself breathing. Feel the natural, steady rhythm of the air around you coming into your vessel, softly exhaling back out. Let it be fluid and easy. And when you're ready, go ahead and slightly crack the eyes. Keep the gaze low, letting the light back into the eyes. And we're going to start today with some work with our feet. So go ahead and take your socks off if you're wearing them and it's warm enough. And we'll start just by planting the feet the ankles right under the knees. Everything about hip distance, so feeling the hips, knees, ankles. And we'll start by scrunching the toes in. So leaving the feet flat on the floor, go ahead and bring your toes in towards your heels. And then come back to neutral. Do that a few times, scrunching the toes in, extending them out, squeezing the toes, bringing them out. Just kind of warming up the toes and the feet. Maybe you've been wearing shoes all day. Maybe you've been on your feet all day. Just give yourself some time here with your feet. They do so much for us, and yet we rarely give them the attention they deserve. And then pause. And now we're going to bring in some ankle work to this foot curl. So we'll lift the toes, so flexing the ankle, and then curl the toes in, and then plant the toes down and extend them out. And then flex the ankle, curl the toes, bring the foot down to the floor, and then extend the toes out. So it's almost like this wave motion where you're bringing the toes back in and then sliding them back out along the floor, lifting the ankles, lifting the toes, curl, extend along the floor. Keep moving. If you find that your breath has already become shallow and you're just so focused on this move, maybe you check in and see if you can deepen into the breath as you do this. It's a pretty simple move. Let it be simple. You're doing it right, I promise. And let that be the last one. And then we will curl the toes in like we began, and then come to the outer edge of the foot, and that opens up the knees, and then come to the inner edge of the foot, knees come together. So we might actually want to take a wider stance with our feet this time, so wider than hip distance. And again, curl the toes in, and then we'll just do some back and forth. So going from the outer edge to the inner edge, letting the knees flap in and out, and feeling more into that ankle. All those little muscles around the feet. There's a lot going on. And then come back to center. And we're going to do what's called toe eaters. So start out here in neutral, and then we're going to just eat our way forward with our toes. So just curling in, and then bringing the toes forward, and then extending the toes. And then curling them forward. We're just like doing this motion along the floor, and then reverse. Curl the toes in, and then scoot the feet back. Toes in, heels back. Toes in, heels back. Toes in, heels back. Toes in, heels back. Until you get all the way to where you began, and then go forward. So curl, heels forward. Curl, heels forward. Curl, heels forward. Curl, heels forward. Until you can't quite do it anymore, and then reverse and keep going. Munching your way forward and back. You can go as quickly or as slowly as you prefer. Sometimes it's nice to get a good rhythm and let it be kind of rhythmic. Keeping a steady beat. Keep going. Might start to burn a little bit as we work these underutilized muscles, especially if you're keeping a nice steady rhythm. And then pause, take a breath, just feel that resonance in the feet. They might feel a little more awake and alive and alert just from that motion. And then we're going to do some rocks back and forth. So coming onto the heels and the balls of the feet, back and forth. So flex, point the heels. Not so worried about the toes, what the toes are doing here, but just moving back and forth. And I'll do it from this side as well, so you can see that my heels are lifting. Keep going. And again, you can find a nice steady rhythm with this. And for me, I definitely feel some sensation in my shins, especially right by the ankle and above, and as well into the calf. So you can do these throughout your day if you're just sitting in a chair. Kind of wake up the lower legs, get some blood flow going down there. Okay, and then pause. Let that go. And for our last thing we'll do in the chair here, we're going to flex the ankles, so and lift the toes, and then curl the toes under, and then extend the toes out. So keeping the ankle flexed, curl the toes in, and then extend out long. And this really burns in my shins. I don't know how it feels for you, but a lot of underutilized muscles for sure. And I'll show this from the side as well. So flex ankles, curl the toes, extend. It's a slow burn. And when you're ready, go ahead and let that go. Nice job. So we're going to transition onto the floor. I've got a blanket that I will be utilizing, so I'm going to fold it to give myself kind of like half of a bolster lift. So if you have something like that or a pillow that you can use, that is good to have. And we'll go ahead and come onto our backs. And this is where we will want the strap. Actually, I'm going to lay this way. So go ahead and come onto your back, Ardha Savasana. So knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And I'm going to show you one of my favorite Feldenkrais moves, which works the hip, ball, and socket joint. So to begin, go ahead and grab the strap and place it around the right foot, just on the arch there. And then hold the strap like reins, so one side in each hand. And then pulling gently on the right hand, we're going to turn the foot out like we were doing in the chair. And then relax that side and pull with the left side. Now we're turning the foot in. And we'll go back and forth, turning the foot side to side. It's called pronation and supination. So not back and forth, but side to side. And while you're doing this and getting a feel for it, because it might take a moment to get a feel for that motion, be sure to keep the rest of your leg as relaxed as you can, and allow the knee to move, and then allow the whole head of the femur bone to rotate slightly inside of that joint, the hip joint. The head of the femur acting like the ball of the ball and socket joint. So do this a few times, noticing that this simple movement of the foot, pronation and supination, translates through the entire leg, so through the ankle and the knee, all the way into that ball and socket joint in the hip. And just get curious about this connection and the importance of the feet in terms of our hips alignment and structure. Good. And then go ahead and grab both of the reins with your right hand and bend the knee and then straighten. And do that a few times. And then this time bring the hand over to the outside of the right leg, bend the knee, and then bring the hand to the inside of the right leg, bend the knee. And you notice, keep going with this, as you're moving your hand and your arm to either side of the leg, that you're getting even more rotation in that ball and socket joint. And we're actually lubricating that entire joint just through this simple movement. So let it be slow and methodical. And maybe keep that vision in your mind's eye of what the femur looks like as it rotates inside of the hip socket. Maybe start to feel that mechanism working inside of your body. And the next time that your knee is bent and your arm is to the inside, go ahead and let the knee just fall over to the right, and the hips will come with it. So hips lift and you sort of roll over onto the right side, and then come up, extend the leg, and just let yourself roll over to the other side as you bend with the hand on the outside of the foot or the leg, and then reverse. So we're adding on to this movement, letting the hips get involved, letting the pelvis rotate from side to side. Let it be fluid. Notice that the knee really carries the weight here. As the knee falls over, the pelvis naturally wants to follow. Maybe extend the leg out slightly when you get to the right side. Just playing around with your range of motion. Good. Now here's the fun part. The next time your knee comes over towards the left, and this really only works if you're not on a sticky mat, so you either want to be on a wood surface or carpet, works fine. Let the knee fall all the way over to the ground, and then keep hold of the strap. Oh yeah, sorry, let's try that again. Come back onto your back, and keep your left hand up above you so it doesn't get in the way. So again, we'll take the strap to the outside of the right leg and then let the knee fall over like we've been doing. And then when the knee hits the ground, keep rotating, keep a hold of the strap and extend onto your belly. So now I'm on my belly. My right leg has lengthened out because that's what it naturally wants to do. And I'm still holding on to that strap. And then play with this back and forth. So coming up and sliding the knee along the floor, kind of in a half lizard, if you know that pose. And then extending. And feeling that full rotation of the hip. And let it be, let your knee be heavy on the floor here. And just kind of explore and play as you bring your knee up and around. And then if you like, you can bring the knee back to center and let that roll you onto your side. Extend the leg up to the sky, and then bend the knee, extend the right leg out. And then bring it back up to the sky. Hand to the outer right side. Fall over to the left and extend. Full rotation. So this is working through the full rotation of that hip. And just feel how fluid and lubricated that joint might have become. And just play around with it for a little bit now that you've got a feel for it, hopefully. Maybe you found a spot that you really like. You want to explore a little bit more. And when you're ready, you can remove the strap from your foot and come back into Ardha Savasana. Just take a moment here and pause and feel the difference between your hips. If you want to come back to that 5 count, even inhale and exhale. Inhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just let any of that intellectual strain soften a bit. That was a lot of learning. And the next side should come a little bit more naturally now that you've been through one side. So go ahead and grab your strap and we'll place it around the left foot. Extend the foot up to the sky. Right leg is bent. And again, we'll start by exploring that pronation and supination of the foot. So the inner rotation and outer rotation of the foot. Again, letting it translate all the way through the ankle, through the knee, and into that deep hip socket. When you're ready, you can gently bend the knee, bring it in towards the chest, and then extend. And do that a few times. And then place both sides of the strap in the left hand. And again, we'll bend the knee with the left hand towards the outside of the leg. And then extend and come to the inside of the leg. Bend. Extend. Hand to the outside. Extend. Hand to the inside. And what that does is gently shifts the rotation of the hip, well, really of the femur inside of the hip socket. And then maybe explore letting the knee drop over to one side. Just doing a small range of motion to begin with. Feel how that translates into the pelvis. Maybe the knee, when it comes over to the left, you go ahead and extend the foot out long. And maybe when the knee comes over towards the right, it comes all the way to the floor. So just building up on this movement, letting it get a little bigger, exploring more of the boundary. And then again, if you want to play around with the full rotation, you can let the knee drop when it comes over the right, over towards the right. Right hand extends, and then keep pulling on the strap as you come onto the top of the thigh. And you can play around with this a few times, just feeling the leg sliding along the floor. Not sure if you can see that. doing with the extending the leg out long to the left as well. I don't have enough room, but that feels really nice too, to do the full rotation all the way in both directions. And we'll do a couple more rounds. If there's anywhere that you really like, you can go ahead and stay with that for a few breaths if that feels good. And then whenever you're ready, we'll find ourselves back onto our backs. Take the strap and set it aside. And just pause here. Now feeling that both hips have been well lubricated. We're going to do a few strengthening moves. So if you have a blanket that's tightly rolled or a couple of pillows, you can set them right where your hips will be. So a little bit of a lift on your hips. And then kind of like a supported bridge, but we're not trying to get too high with our hips. So find a comfortable position where you feel like your pelvis is fully supported, so you're not leaning back in posterior tilt or too far forward in anterior tilt, but have a good neutral pelvis. And then go ahead and take a breath when you have arrived. And then let's go ahead and grab hold of the outside of the right shin and pull the right knee towards the chest. And gently push into the left heel. And then release. And then push into the left heel. And release. One more time. And release. And then go ahead and extend your left leg out long. And use your breath and settle in here to the psoas stretch. So it's a big opening on the psoas. If this is too much, you can always come off of the bolster or blanket or pillow or whatever your hips are on top of. And just use your breath to open up the left psoas. And then ever so slightly, let's engage the ankle by flexing the ankle and then doing our toe curl like we practiced at the beginning. So toes are curled in, ankle is flexed, and then slightly lift the leg off of the mat. Stay here for a breath. And on your next inhale, we'll abduct the leg. So open the leg out to the left. It's a small movement, it doesn't need to be large. And then exhale, bring it back to center. Inhale, open up the leg. Abduction. Exhale, close the leg. Adduction. Keep moving with your breath. Make it slow and steady. And then relax the foot back to the mat. Release any hold in the ankle or foot and just find neutral. Inhale, extend the elbows and push the knee away from the chest. And then exhale, draw the knee towards the chest. Inhale, straighten the elbows, move the knee away. Exhale, Bring it in. One more time. And go ahead and place the foot onto the mat. Have your arms out to a T. This time we'll come back up, lifting the leg, and work through our foot rotations here. So those same movements that we did before, kind of in the chair, we'll work with here while the leg is extended. So we'll start by flexing the ankle and curling the toes, and then slightly lift the foot off of the mat, and then extend the toes long and curl, and extend long and curl. So it's a small move. Curl. And now pronation, supination. So back and forth, side to side, keeping the toes curled in and the ankle flexed. And now do a full circle. So the ankle moving in one direction, let the toes relax. And now the ankle moves in the other direction. And bring the heel to the mat. Nice job. Go ahead and bring the foot onto the mat. And pause here in Ardha Savasana and just notice how that work translated into the hip here on the left side before we transition. So go ahead and draw the left knee into the chest. Press with the right foot and then release. Press, release, press, release. And then we'll extend the right foot out long. Settle in as we send our breath to our right hips. Good, now flex the ankle and curl the toes just like we've been practicing. And then inhale, lift ever so slightly the heel off of the mat. Exhale here, and then inhale, open up to the side, very small movement. Exhale, back to center. Keep moving with your breath. Inhale, open up, abduction. Exhale, adduction. So moving out, moving in. Keep breathing. And then when you're ready, go ahead and bring the foot down to the mat. Place the left foot onto the mat. Arms can come out to a T. And we'll do those foot movements here. So flexing the ankle. Inhale, lift the heel off of the mat. And then squeeze the toes in and extend. And squeeze and extend. Keep going. And keep breathing. And then pronation, supination, so side to side. And then full circle one way. Toes can be relaxed. And And full circle the other way. And then go ahead and release that back down to the mat. You release your heel to the mat. And then draw the feet in, Ardha Savasana. And just take a pause here, take a breath. Let it be a long inhale and maybe an even longer exhale. And then whatever you have under your hips, gently press into your heels and lift the hips slightly and just take that off to the side. And we'll go ahead and roll onto our bellies. Extend the legs out long. Have your head facing towards the left. Then have your hands under your shoulders. And on the inhale, lift the chest, lift the left leg. Exhale, turn your head so that the left cheek is on the mat, head facing towards the right. Inhale, lift the chest, lift the right leg. Exhale, slowly lower, turn the head. Keep moving with your breath. Inhale, come up. Exhale, lower. See if you can initiate the movement by lifting the chest first and then the leg. So whatever way your face was turned, that's the leg that lifts. And the next time you do the right side, make it your last. And then go ahead and stack the hands right under your forehead and rest your head on your hands. Then when you're ready, slowly come up onto your knees and hands. And we'll take a nice child's pose. So options here in child's pose, you can have your knees together and sit back on your heels. Or you can have your heels together, knees wide, and sit back on your heels that way. You can have your arms out extended. Or you could have the hands down by your feet, palms face up. So wherever you're at, just come back to the rhythm of your breath. And make it long and smooth. See if you can even out the edges of the inhale and exhale. Feel the breath working all the way into the back side of the body and expanding out through the rib cage. And then go ahead and come on up, sit onto your heels. And we'll take a gentle twist here in hero's pose. If this is not comfortable for you, you can use a blanket or a bolster to prop yourself up on. Feel yourself settling into hero's pose. Again, finding as much lift as you need to make this accessible to you. Now we'll take a gentle twist. So first just let the hips settle, the sit bones settle like they did in the chair. Let your belly get soft. Feel the extension of your spine in both directions. Keep a nice tuck of the chin, lengthening out the back side of the neck. And we'll inhale and bring the hands up overhead. And then exhale, turn the torso towards the right. And just let the hands fall wherever they intend to. Let it be a gentle move. There's no reason to overcompensate here by lifting the pelvis to get more twist. Keep the pelvis nice and rooted. And if that requires less of a twist, then that's the goal. Keeping the pelvis rooted, not overextending through the low back or hip muscles. Twist is mostly coming from the center of the spine. Keep the breath flowing in and out evenly. And then gently unwind, come back to center. Reroot yourself. Then inhale, bring the hands up to the sky. Exhale, turn towards the left. And just let the hands fall wherever they will. Keep the neck in alignment with the rest of your spine, so leave the twist out of the cervical spine. And then when you're ready, come back to the center. And we'll take one symmetrical forward fold in Dandasana. So if you have a blanket, I highly recommend sitting up on a blanket or a pillow to lift your hips in this position. So we can find a nice anterior tilt of the pelvis. I'll show it from the side as well. You can have your hands to the floor right beside your hips. And flex the ankles again, and then we'll curl the toes one last time here in Dandasana. So flexed ankles but curled toes. Again, root through those sit bones first and foremost, and maybe you stay here, feeling the length of the spine, of your spine. Option to turn it into a hip flexion, so a forward fold, but without the rounding of the spine. So it might not be the deepest forward fold that you can accomplish, but the goal is to keep the axial extension, so the length in the spine as you forward fold. So leading with the heart, keeping a gentle tuck of the chin, maybe come forward a few hand prints. And just find your gentle edge. So it's not a sharp edge. It's a very gentle edge. One where you still feel completely safe and comfortable. Where the breath still moves with ease. You might even still be hearing the gentle whisper in the back of your throat as your ujjayi breath comes through. And as you breathe in this position, it often opens up some opportunities to go a little deeper. Or you might decide to back out, and that's totally optional as well. You find your mind wandering, you can always come back to that breath that helps to count it out. Feel free to do that as well. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to upright position. And we'll start to transition back onto the mat for Savasana. So if there's anything that you like to have for Savasana, like a blanket or eye pillow or sweater, socks, go ahead and grab that now. And then we'll come onto the mat. And just lie down. Let your feet splay out. Relax all effort. Release any counting or holding with the breath. And just allow yourself to settle into this sacred act of doing nothing. Knowing full well that all of your biological processes are working without your rational mind. And allowing that thought and that analyzing and planning to maybe soften just a bit. Relax the toes. the soles of the feet, the tops of the feet, the ankles, the lower leg, the kneecaps, the upper leg, both hip joints, the pelvis, the belly, the chest, shoulders, upper arm, elbows, lower arm, the wrists, the back of the hand, the top of the hand, all 5 fingers. Bring your attention to the sternal notch right below your throat. Relax the neck, relax the jaw, relax the lips, the tongue, the nostrils, the cheeks, the eyes, the eyebrows, the forehead, the ears, top of the head. Let the whole body relax. Let the whole body feel heavy. Let the whole body melt and sink. And go ahead and bring some gentle movement back into the body, rubbing the fingers with the thumbs or wiggling the toes. You can swallow, lick the lips, and then bringing some rotation into the wrists and the ankles. Keep the eyes closed. When you're ready, you can bring your feet onto the mat, knees into the chest. Just let your knees fall over to one side. You can have your head resting on your inner arm here in a fetal position. And when you're ready, go ahead and transition back up to a seated position. Keep the eyes closed or the gaze low. Let yourself settle into a seat that's comfortable for you. And I invite you to bring your left and right palms to touch at the heart center. Thumbs gently pressing into the sternum. Slight tuck of the chin, lengthening of the back of the neck. Take a breath and honor and acknowledge your effort. We'll close our practice with 3 rounds of Om. Start by exhaling out all the breath and inhale for Om. I bow to you. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. Bye for now.